everybody, and welcome back to the King Fox channel. My name's Matt Conager, and I'm building a Kit Fox Series 7 STI. And come in for a little inspection. Looks like good adhesion up here, nothing's pulling away, and I'm streamlined along the side of my ribs, which is excellent. I was not so streamlined along the edge of the rib on the vertical stabilizer. A little bit of 9460 that's coming out on the edge there, but I can pop those off. I was using a chisel. Okay, that one also has a little bit right there. This one also. But I did get good adherence to the fiberglass, so everything feels quite rigid and nice, which is what I wanted. Especially down here at the bottom where I got pretty close with my inspection cover. I don't know why I went down that far. I should have stopped about there, but I did. Anyway, it's definitely adhered all the way around there, which is good. That'll hold that nice and tight. I added a little bit to the arms, the stop arms. Actually, this is for the rudder linkage. These are the stops. These hit the stops here, I think. So, and this is the rib that I need to put some stiffeners on, some lateral stiffeners, according to Brandon. So I'll probably put one up here in the wide part where I think the fabric's going to come down around the bottom and probably pull up on that a lot. And I want it to be stiff. So we'll put that on. But I think what we should probably do is take this over to the the vertical stabilizer and see how they made up for now. I did do that before I glued it, but I like to test it one more time just to give me that warm fuzzy that I didn't bugger things up. So we'll do that. And then if I have enough varnish, I gotta do all the ribs in the rudder, which is in my hand, and the vertical stabilizer. Well, that certainly does marry up. It's fine. Try that again. I guess my tabs in here are hitting the bolts going through the eyes, so. All right, so it looks good, pretty flush. I can make some top caps for the vertical stabilizer and the rudder. I could probably do that after a bit. But while this is off, I'm going to take full advantage of putting epoxy on the tops and the bottoms of the ribs, so because I can move it around. So I'm going to set this in a corner so I don't knock it over, damage my good work. Get that guy out of the way. All right, we got 20 minutes on our timer, so we can probably get into something else. All right, we need to make some blocks for the top of the rudder and the vertical stabilizer. I have some leftover block material that I'm going to see if it fits. If not, the kit does come with, I think, a separate block probably for each piece, since I have 2 blocks remaining and I have a rudder and vertical stabilizer to work on. So I'm going to try to find the largest piece in here. You end up sanding these things down quite a bit and they disappear into nothingness. So this one looks like it might suffice. It's thicker on the front, tapers to the back, although it's not long enough. So take a look at this other one. Also not really long enough. Depends on what we want to do. I think I'm just going to use this one. I'll just push it into the material and I'll fill this in back here probably with the superfill. So this is going to get covered with some 9460. I'm pretty much going to cut it down into nothing. So how do you do it? Well, I usually just come up to the front here and I'm probably just going to press it down in, get the radius etched in on the foam a little bit and make a divot in the back. So I have my divot there and I have my radius up here, so I'll just probably cut around there with the coping saw quick, set it back up there, and then sandpaper, I just take it down to a profile that I like. This does line up with the front of the vertical stabilizer, so I think possibly I might give it a little bit of a dome and then just taper it right back down to nothing. Cover it with high sol and call it a day. And then since I don't have this piece installed on the plane, I'll probably hook it up there, see if the two line up, and that'll leave me some room to even them out with a level if I want to, or a straight edge, or just make sure that the lines transition from the vertical stabilizer to the rudder and back to the trailing edge of the aircraft. So let's start cutting. I think I'm going to turn the fan off though, because this is a mess. I'm going to trace a small line on here. I have a relative straight edge. Got my taper in the back there, which is here. Here. I'll just stay off the edge of it a little bit. Do the same thing on this side. Gives me a rough line to follow. Now hold on to those pieces. You never know what you might need later on. Not have to order some more. So now I gotta take out for that tube, and again I just push down on it a little bit to leave an indentation in there, and probably just gonna use a hacksaw and cut a square channel and then just set it down over that. It'll get high sol on there and high sol over the top of it. It doesn't need to be perfect, I don't think. So the front tube pushes in about here. So I'm just going to lay the blade on there and line it up. Doesn't take much pressure. You can just saw right in there. If you go through the side like I just did, don't fret, because like I said, you're going to cover it with 9460 and probably put some super fill over the top of that, sand it down. So this is just basically a guide or a little bit of a mold. So I was pretty concerned about it when I first did it, and now not so much. So I'll set that on there and see if it fits. A little bit deeper. I could probably go a full saw blade depth on there. In fact, I could just set the blade up there and see. A little bit deeper than full at the back, a little bit deeper at the front. Full at the back. All right, let's test that on there, see what we see. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of compress it down to the tube. It might take a little bit more right out of the middle, but the front looks good. So I'll take a smidge out of the center here. You don't want to miss that. And while I'm here, I'm probably going to round these corners over. Okay, set her back up here. All right, fits down to the edge of the rib, fits in the cap. So I'm just going to start to sand it a little bit. This is going to be messy, so I might go to, well, we'll just come over here. We'll do it as close as we can to the trash can, and you can see how easy it is to sand her down. So that's going to wrap up today's episode. If you haven't already done so, hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the little bell for future notifications so you don't miss any good videos like this when they come out. So thanks for watching, stay tuned, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Goodbye.